Hello everybody, this is Lara from Pure Elliott Wave with your Monday to Friday update for Bitcoin and XRP on Friday the 30th of August. Bitcoin's moving just a little bit lower. The last completed candlestick, this one here, has a really bearish upper wick. So let's expect if the current candlestick closes below 58,200, that'll be a break below support. Let's expect support next to be found at 56,500. For the short term, I am expecting overall an upward swing, but I keep saying don't expect it to move in a straight line. It's choppy and overlapping. Here's an example of an upward swing that is choppy and overlapping, a pullback here, a little bit of sideways movement here. Here's another one from here to here, a deep pullback along the way up. That's what I expect we're seeing here. I am expecting next time price gets up to resistance, it's very likely after a little pullback there to break above resistance and continue on up and out. So my last thumbnail for my last video had one word, bullish, and I am still bullish on Bitcoin and XRP. I'm looking at it from a longer term perspective, not a very short term perspective, because I really don't want to encourage people to use this analysis for day trading. I'm strongly of the opinion that the best approach to these markets is a buy and hold strategy for the long term, because when you look at the monthly time frame, Bitcoin particularly is in a really big bull market. It's for the shorter term, well, mid-term, it's in this big rectangle pattern. It's been in this pattern since it entered back here on the 28th of February, characterized from swings from resistance to support to resistance to support, resistance, support, and back again. So overall, an upward swing to resistance is expected. The rectangle is now very mature. The longer it goes on, the closer the breakout is going to be. Price will break out of this rectangle eventually. I expect an upward breakout is most likely, but I'm not always right. My goal is, using this analysis, to be right more often than wrong. Sometimes I am wrong. It is possible price could break out to the downside. If we see a close below 53,500 followed by two red candlesticks down and away to filter out a false downward breakout, that would constitute a downward breakout, and then I would calculate a target for support for a deeper movement down. I wouldn't be expecting that that's it for Bitcoin and we're not going to see previous all-time highs breached. I would still expect that, but I would expect a deeper, more time-consuming bearish movement before the next strong bullish run begins, if it breaks out below 53,500. If that happens, then I will take the width of the rectangle, deduct that distance from the breakout point, and that would be my target for support. So it would only be about 20,000 below, so to be about 33,000 to 38,000, probably about 38 to 40,000, because there's strong support about 38,000. So that would be what I expect if we see a downward breakout. But again, I do expect it's most likely we're going to see an upward breakout. What I'm trying to explain here is you have to be open-minded and flexible and consider, what if I'm wrong, what else could be happening, and then what would I expect to happen next. For the short term, price was moving lower with a decline in volume, and the last completed candlestick with that bearish upper wick has a further decline in volume. I am expecting a little bit more downward movement to next short-term support is most likely for the short term. Last time I looked at on-balance volume with you, it looked like we had a bearish signal as on-balance volume broke below the purple support line, but it's returned back above the line, so that line is now weaker. Let's move it and adjust it slightly. So no signal from on-balance volume. It's still within a zone of resistance and support. The trend lines are diverging, so we may not get a signal. ADX is declining. There's no clear trend. A reminder that at the last low for the 5th of August, RSI had reached oversold and then exhibited bullish divergence, and money flow exhibited bullish divergence. In that context, the 5th of August had a strong downward movement with a strong spike in volume that suggests that the 5th of August low may most likely or very likely remain intact. Now, that's not certain. I'm judging it to have a high probability. Higher probability outcomes will occur more commonly, but sometimes low probability outcomes will occur, and when they do, they'll never be what you expected as most likely. That's how probability works, and that's why it's important to be flexible and open-minded. Consider what if I'm wrong, what else could be happening, and if it does happen, how will I adjust and react to that eventuality. and that's what you need to consider for good risk management. ATR is declining as price moves sideways, bit of a pause and bit of weakness. With no clear trend, the model of stochastics plus support and resistance expects stochastics to continue a bit lower and price to continue a little bit lower to support for the short term before the short term downward movement is complete and then the larger upward swing begins. The Elliott Wave count for XRP remains the same. It's moving ever so slightly lower, just a little bit. I expect if we get a close below 55 cents, I expect the next session may be a strong session with a strong wick like this to wick down to maybe get as low as 50 cents, maybe not that low, and then for price to quickly return back up to 55 cents. And that'll complete a double zigzag structure for Minuet Wave 2. First zigzag in the double, labelled sub-Minuet W, double joined by a 3 in the opposite direction, labelled X. Let's get some labels on here because I think I can see a little A, B. Yep, I think I want to see B over here, so A, B, C. To move lower, the purpose of a second or third zigzag in a double or triple zigzag is to deepen the correction when the first or prior zigzag doesn't move price deep enough. To achieve that purpose, Y should end reasonably beyond the end of W. That's why I expect a sharp wick down to find support about 50 cents and for price to quickly return above. XRP does like to have these downward movements ending with some really long bullish long lower wicks. These sharp wicks and then strong movement in the other direction. A sharp wick down, strong movement in the other direction. That's what I'm expecting to see here, but I expect this low will be above this low, will be above this low. XRP moving sideways, still finding support about 54, 55 cents. If it breaks below that today, next support below identified about 46 cents. As price is moving slightly lower and sideways, volume is declining, not a lot of strength in this downward movement, whereas previously very, very strong pushes from volume and an increase in range. As price moves higher, volatility and volume favour the upside for XRP. This is very bullish for XRP. For the short term, XRP gave us a bearish signal with a break below support, a reaction to resistance at price support, now moving down and away. I expect this is giving a little bit of support to the conclusion for the Elliott Wave count that expects a little bit more downward movement for the short term before overall continuing upward movement for XRP. ADX is declining, it's back below 15 at a really low level, no clear trend. Price is moving lower. If it closes below 55 cents, look for next support about 50 to 48 cents and look for stochastics to continue down into oversold and price and stochastics to reach there simultaneously. That's it from me this week with your update, and I hope everyone's looking forward to a lovely weekend.